Hello and welcome to the News Minute. I'm Dhanya Rajendran and this is Anna Isaac. The big news today is that most likely the government is going to introduce a bill in the parliament to omit India from the constitution and retain only the name Bharat. So just one clarification, it is not India is going to be renamed as Bharat because officially we do have two names as the Article 1 of the constitution says, India, that is Bharat. So Anna, how can the government bring about this change?
So they will introduce a bill in Parliament, whether it's the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, it doesn't matter. And through that, they can basically pass an amendment in the Constitution and get India's name omitted from the thing. Now, whether it requires the state assemblies to also ratify this is not needed because this isn't a vital bill, so to speak. So as per Article 368, this is not required.
Okay, so Article 368 of the Constitution, as Anna was saying, actually gives a list of articles in the Constitution that can be amended only if state assemblies also ratify. But Article 1 of the Constitution does not come under Article 368. Simple meaning, the government can go ahead, amend Article 1 of the Constitution, omit India from the constitution, and it will not require any ratification of state assemblies, but
It will have to be passed in both houses of parliament.
And you need two-third majority.
That bit is not clear whether it requires two-third majority or a simple majority. That bit is not clear. We'll have to figure it out with perhaps a legal expert because they're also a bit confused about this because that itself has been debated a lot. Okay, but Danya, what is the need for omitting India from the constitution? Do you think it has anything to do with the India opposition bloc?
See, considering that we already have two official names, right, which is India and Bharat, and this question has come up several times to Supreme Court also. I think the recent one was in 2020 when the Supreme Court actually asked the Ministry of Home Affairs about, omitting India and retaining only Bharat. At that time also the CJI then had said that people can use either of these names, India or Bharat. It's come in 2016, the Supreme Court said the same thing. So when we already have two names, why would the government want to omit India and retain only Bharat? Well, the opposition can say that it is because the India bloc is there and the fight then becomes between Bharat and India or BJP versus India or NDA versus India. That of course is there, but that's something the opposition can claim. I think that this is, if the BJP does bring this bill, it is simply an assertion that we have the numbers to go ahead with this kind of a move. And it's more of going back to the roots, right? For example, if you look at the debates in the Constituent Assembly, when the constitution was debated, almost everybody who spoke on naming the country agreed that Bharat is a name which talks about our ancient civilization, so that is fine. So I think it's more of an assertion by the BJP that we don't need that modern name of India anymore. We will retain only Bharat, and that is what our country's characteristic will be. Now, omitting India from the Indian constitution is not the only agenda of the government. There's been a lot of speculation that different kinds of bills will be presented in the parliament this time. One is, of course, the bill to make one India, one election, which is the entire country will vote simultaneously for the parliament and for the state assemblies. Anna, what are the pros of this bill according to the government, according to all those people who have been supporting this bill?
Well, one is that it will reduce the expenditure, given that, every year we see state assemblies and of course, every 5 years we see the Lok Sabha elections. So their argument is that this will reduce cost by a great extent. The second argument is that India is constantly in election mode and therefore your machinery is constantly geared towards elections and not doing enough governance. So that is their argument for having simultaneous elections.
So now, what is the opposition saying? In fact, a lot of experts have been saying is puncturing both these arguments. The first is the cost. Now, what is the cost of conducting elections in India? One estimate is that it is anything between 6,000 crores to 10,000 crores, which is all the elections put together every year, right? But look at the expenditure or budgets of every assembly. It is from 15 lakh crores to 20 lakh crores. So it's not a huge amount is what most of the opposition and people opposing the bill is saying, that the money is only an excuse. And the Election Commission of India does not have a lot of permanent employees. They work through people who are quasi-government or government employees and they pay the money. So to have an exercise where the entire country votes simultaneously, you have to recruit more staff, you have to have more EVMs. There's a lot of money which is going to go into that. So through the years, if we keep doing this, then that advantage of less money is going to be evened out, is what a lot of people argue. Now, the second reason being given is that we are perennially in an election mode. There's always a model code of conduct in some state or the other. So, announcements of government policies cannot be done. There's actually a very interesting article by Congress leaders Tharoor and Praveen Chakrabarti in the Hindu, right? What is their reasoning of this?
So they have an interesting argument. They point out that is only the BJP, considering that they're a very national level party. Their leaders, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah, are the ones who are campaigning for any state election, and they are. Prime Minister Modi himself is being projected as the face of the BJP in each state. And they said that this is the problem of the BJP. It is not a problem of the country or of the states.
So that means it's just the BJP, and in particular the Prime Minister and Amit Shah, who are perennially in election mode, because the Prime Minister is everywhere. You have election in Karnataka, he's there from Belgaum to Bangalore. If it's in Tamil Nadu, he's there. If it's in Odisha, he's there. So he has to always campaign. Therefore, it makes his job easier if there's one election every 5 years. Now, the other argument is that India has had one India, one nation, one
simultaneous
election
elections
many years ago. So why not do it now? Is that really possible?
See, again, their argument is that this is what it was in the 1950s and 60s when India was,
the state
was formed, and it made sense then because holding it together. But since then, governments have fallen. There've been early elections, so it doesn't make sense to break the cycle. Because, for example, Karnataka saw elections, right? Are we going to have elections again?
And look at there was an article today which said that. Former President Ramnath Kovind, he's actually heading a committee to look into one nation, one election, and he has been studying this since June. So one of the proposals is that all the governments which were supposed to have terms till 2025 will be dissolved, like West Bengal. They will go into elections. What happens to states like Tamil Nadu or Kerala, which has assemblies till 2026, or a Karnataka, which went to election just now? So there are so many unanswered questions, and it is against federalism itself. For example, as of now, the Chief Minister of a state has the right to go and tell the governor to dissolve an assembly. Like KCR, the Telangana Chief Minister has done. He's dissolved the assembly before its term got over. Yes. So now a Chief Minister will no longer have that power, right? And what happens if a government falls? Let's say that a particular party does not have majority anymore and the government falls. Will you have president rule? Let's say the government falls 1 year into power. The next 4 years, are you going to have president's rule there because you're not going to allow elections? So it goes against the very grain of federalism, right?
Yes, that's the argument that Shashi Tharoor and Praveen Chakrabarti have been making.
And not
just them, of course. Yeah,
literally all opposition, not all opposition parties. A few parties, in fact, are for it. AIDMK is.
TRS is interestingly enough.
But now I think they are changing.
They've kept quiet about the issue and refused to.
So there's a lot of pressure on them to make their stand clear.
Yeah.
So a lot of parties have supported the BJP. But the others who are not supporting say that the reasons that the BJP is giving to bring one India, one election is not sufficient, and that the plan of the BJP is to simply ensure that regional parties do not win elections. Why? Because if you and I go to the polling booth to vote, we have 2 EVMs in front of us, one for parliament election and one for state election. It's very natural that you may choose the same party for both the polls, right? So there is more likelihood of the BJP winning the parliament and a few state elections is the argument there. So that's it from us. The special session of the parliament will convene
on September 18th to the 22nd.
Yes, so we will keep you posted on all the things to come. As of now, today's buzz is that India, the name may get omitted from the Indian Constitution.